Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Very good evening. My name is Faisal Kassim and welcome to the live Real Talk. And tonight we are talking about one of the other topics that has been hitting the headlines recently, and that's the whole agenda of the hustle in the Gulf. But again, without further ado, my name is Faisal Kassim. Welcome so much to the live Real Talk. And before I introduce my panel tonight, let's watch this clip from one of the sisters in Saudi Arabia. Aban.
Jina naitwa Najma Mohamed Mwakande. Nimefanya kazi from 2019 to 2022 Saudia. And my experience is Saudia si mbaya na pia si nzuri. The experience is unaweza pata familia yenye umeangukia ni wazuri au familia unaangukia ni wabaya. But uko Saudia agent wetu hapo wao wamependa kutekea you work for 8 hours kwa contract umekewa hivyo. But ukienda huko huwezi fanya like 8 hours. Nyumba zingine unaweza pata mtu anafanya 18 hours, 20 hours, pengine analala for 3 hours tu, ama saa zingine unapata mtu mwingine amekuwekea time za kufanya kazi. Saudi hata kama wewe hujui kuomba, my friend, utaomba maana maisha si rahisi. Kikweli maisha si rahisi. People that are suffering there, si ati unapata video imetrend ati wote ni wabaya. Hapana, maisha pia ni kuvumilia. Maana huku, let me say, in Kenya mtu atafanya kazi and maybe kazi yenye anofanya haimkimu kulipa nyumba haitoshi, pengine kulipia watoto karo haitoshi. Ndio napata sisi tunaamua twende Saudia ili familia yetu pia iko na maisha bora. Si ati wao unataka kuniambia hapa Kenya kungekuwa na kazi, nani angeenda Saudia? Nani angeenda Saudia? Lakini Kenya yetu haina kazi, kikweli haina kazi. Watu wamesoma lakini hawana kazi. Sio ati watu ambao kwamba wanaenda Saudia si wasomi. Most of them wamesoma. Watu wengine hata na certificate zao, wana degree. Yeah, but nile kuna wengine pia hawana karo. Lakini ni ile unaona familia yako utakubali ndugu zako wakose kusoma, itabidi umejituma.
Thanks so much, Aban. That was Najma Mohamed all the way from Saudi Arabia. I mean, that is first-hand experience. And joining me in studio to discuss this important topic, I have the amazing panel once again. Botul Kassim, who is the former manager at Al Mared Agency, which is an agency that was tasked and is still tasked with taking people to Saudi Arabia. Botul, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Karibu sana, and thanks so much for making time for us this evening.
You're welcome.
And Mr. Odhiambo Ojiro, all the way from Haki, Africa. Of course, you can see the logo on the left side of the road, beg your pardon. And who is a rapid response officer with Haki Africa. Remember, our beloved viewers, you're streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube as well. And you can drop in your comments and you can ask your questions. You can call in live. What exactly do you have to say? You can text us on WhatsApp number as well, asking your questions, and we will be able to answer right here in studio. Odhiambo Ojiro, this is something that has been hitting the headlines once again for the second time, or rather for the 5th time. I mean, it's been coming on and off for a very long time. What exactly is the situation? What exactly is the problem? What are some of the complaints that you are getting as a human rights defender?
Good. My name is Odhiambo Ojiro Frederick. I work as the Rapid Response Officer for the Nairobi office. And the issue of Kenyan migrant workers in the Middle East is a national issue. And it is beyond a national issue, it is a global issue.
Okay.
Because it touches on the lives of many people. And it rings bells in the doorsteps of government. And it shakes, the corridors of the agencies that are involved in this business.
Okay.
From where we sit, the truth of the matter is, and we must say this, we're looking at the agencies in their faces, and when looking at the government straight in their eyes, and telling them that there's a problem, and this problem must be sorted out.
What is the problem exactly? From what you've been getting, the complaints you've been getting?
One, it is not that fellow patriotic Kenyans who are in the Middle East, that their suffering started in the Middle East. No. The cause of their suffering is complications, conmanships, violations of fundamental rights, non-adherences to procedures and protocols, people who are not willing to follow due processes. One, we have cases of Kenyan women who were duped to go to the Middle East as tourists. I'll give you the name of the companies. We will not shy away from calling their names. They have been duped to go to Lebanon, to Iraq as tourists, only for them to land there, and they are taken to somebody's house as a domestic worker.
How many cases have you received so far for as far as domestic work and suffering is concerned?
Oh my God.
For the past 1 month. How many
Oh my
cases?
God. Those that have reached to us directly,
Yes.
individually,
Yes.
we have got 211.
211 cases.
Individually.
What are their grievances?
Their grievances start from one. I had got a visa showing 3 months, and I was taken there as a tourist. I am now in the Middle East in Lebanon.
Okay.
My visa has expired, and I can't come back home.
That is one.
That is one.
Okay.
The second issue is that I signed a contract while here in Kenya. When I went to Saudi Arabia, I was introduced to another agent.
Okay.
He picked my documents without my authority. And the agent that took me there told me, now you have got a new boss.
Okay.
Accept the terms and conditions or find yourself home.
Okay.
So people are being duped with new contracts that they cannot read and understand.
Okay. Okay.
Thirdly is the working conditions. And this is the biggest cause, where people, our Kenyan women and girls are saying, I was told I will work for Faisal, I will work for his family. I do know that the family is comprised of 50 members. Now I'm forced to clean the whole apartment with 50 members in the family. I work for more than 18 hours a day.
A quick one, Mr. Odhiambo.
Yes.
So in the interest of time, that's why we just want to handle the main issues
Yes.
of this particular situation.
Yes.
So when you get those complaints,
Yes.
what exactly do you do? Do you do due process? Do you follow up? Do you investigate on some of these matters before you react?
Sure. As a human rights organization, we speak from a point of authority. Because one, I'm a criminologist by profession,
Okay.
from the University of Nairobi. And being mandated to take charge of that docket, when clients come, when they send distress calls, we receive those complaints, we document those complaints, we do social inquiry, we investigate, we ask them to supply us with evidence and documentation that will prove their grievances.
So you have evidences of all these 211 cases and their complaints.
I can supply them with you.
Wow.
I can supply you with visa that proves 3 months, yet now he's there for more than 3 months. I can supply you with contracts. I can supply you with documentary evidences in terms of video.
Yeah.
I have got 200 girls in Sakan deportation camp. And I will share with you the videos. And I make sure that I speak to each and every them on the video. They are telling me, we have no water.
Please do me a favor, just right now, I'm going to give you the permission right now.
Yes.
Share those videos
I
with
will.
my producer, Aban. Just
Yes.
you have his number, right?
Okay.
Share the videos with him. Aban, can we work on exporting those videos? Probably you can play it.
I will be
once.
happy if they are played.
Yes, just
I will
share.
be happy.
Send him on WhatsApp right now.
Come on.
In the meantime, as you're doing that, maybe Botul, I can loop you in. We had this conversation sometimes back. Actually, it was September last year, right? It's almost a year right now, actually more than a year since we had that conversation. But again, today we are here again discussing the same topic. So clearly, there is something wrong somewhere. Maybe for the benefit of those who are joining us today for the first time, you can take us through the not transportation is the wrong word, but again, job-seeking process for someone who wants to seek better opportunities abroad. How do you go about it?
Okay, specifically speaking, for those who are seeking to get jobs in Gulf, I think the major problem, or where we have this going on and on and on, it is the expectation versus the reality.
Okay.
Most of these people do not know what they are getting themselves into. And by the time you reach Saudi now, that is when the reality hits you.
Okay.
You cannot do the kind of job that you had signed for. You've already signed the contract. That sponsor has already paid and catered for all your expenses. So how do you get yourself out of this? That is why people resort into different ways of trying to get the attention and telling us that whatever is being done there is not what they signed for. So like I said, and I will still insist, before you get yourself into it, have some knowledge about it. And as for the agents, tell these people what to expect when they reach there. If you're ready, sign up for it. If you're not, drop the bid.
So you are agreeing that there are issues with the Saudi employers or the Gulf employers in general?
Just like any other employer, we do have problems, just like any other employer. Not just that we have problems specifically directed to Saudi employers. No, we could be having the same problems with employers in Kenya, just that we do not know about it. So it is just a normal affair. It can happen in any other country, any other home. But how well are we prepared to tackle this? Everybody should do their own duty in their own docket.
Let me understand this. You, the agents, know that this situation exists in the Gulf or any other country that they're taking these people to, but yet still they are taking girls there or boys there. Because, I mean, you're talking about girls only, but again, I'm sure there are boys who are suffering as well. But again, they're just suffering in silence. So you know about it, but again, you're still taking people there.
Of course, every day we try to better the situation. Right now, we have more than 210,000 Kenyans who are working in Saudi. So if the situation was that bad, I believe at some point we wouldn't have more people going. What is out there is not the reality. What is out there is the picture that some of these people want to paint. I agree, we have those few general cases, we have those few genuine cases that people have met situations they cannot handle. People have met situations whereby their human rights are violated. That can be looked into. But we also have situations where people do not deliver. You see?
So the workers do not deliver.
Some of them do not.
So the bosses get aggrieved and aggravated, so they...
Exactly.
Okay.
Like naturally, you're from Kenya. Back here in Kenya, you could not work in a 2-bedroom. You are now in Saudi, it's a mansion, it has 5-bedroom. Can you really deliver for the 5-bedroom when you could not do it back here at home?
But is this thing, are these details communicated to them, for example?
Yes, they are. I believe they are. For the ones who travel with the genuine agents, they are. Remember last time I told you, the national government has tried so much to square out the process in such a way that each and every stage you go about, this person is well protected by the government, well protected by the labor laws, in that some of these things can be avoided should we follow the right procedure.
Should we follow the right procedure?
Yes.
Which are there? And we even saw, when we were having this conversation last time, it was just after a whole Senate committee led by the current Nairobi governor, Johnson Sakaja, led a whole delegation to go and discuss with the Saudi Ministry of Labor, right? And they discussed and they ironed out some of these issues. But again, why are we seeing laxity for as far as cracking the whip on some of these rogue agencies concerned? You are a player. I mean, if this thing is happening, then it's affecting your whole industry. Right now, people might be shying away from going to Saudi, which is affecting your business, right? Yes. So why aren't you probing the government and putting the government to task, maybe to crack the whip on the rogue agents?
It is. We have welfare bodies like ASMAC, we have CAPEA. These are people who are looking into this. But like I told you, every person should play their role for us all to be safe. So long as there is one specific body that is not delivering, then it will affect the whole process. Be it the Ministry of Labor, be it the embassy on the other side, be it the workers themselves. So long as someone is not delivering to their best, the process is bound to fail. And truth of the matter is, we do need these jobs. That is why we are traveling day and night. 210,000 is not a number that you can ignore. It means there is something that these people lacked here in Kenya that they are looking for outside there.
Wow.
Remember there was a ban way in 2014 So should it be that nothing was done, I don't believe this ban will have been lifted. So for the ban to have been lifted, it means some measures were put in place.
Interesting. Very interesting point you're putting across there. And I just want to leap in, Mr. Odhiambo, right now. What Botul said, I mean, just integrated with what Najma Mohammed, that was, I mean, first-hand information he had it from Najma, who's working in Saudi, saying that sometimes it can be good. It's not all that what is being speculated. So I'm asking you, these people who are complaining, do you talk to them about, one, expectations, two, what was the situation as soon as they landed, and what exactly did they do about it? Because part of the mechanism that was put in place was the embassies in those countries were introduced hotlines, you know, whereby people could call and communicate some of these problems and challenges.
Good. Before I answer your question, you've said embassies in those countries.
Yeah.
Which countries?
Whatever countries in the Gulf can be.
Be specific. Which countries?
Can be Saudi, can be whatever country. Can be UAE, can be
Now,
Qatar, can be.
Now, most of the complaints we are having are coming from Saudi Arabia. They're coming from Lebanon. They're coming from Iraq. They're coming from Syria. Do we have consulates? Embassies?
In Saudi, yes, we do.
Only Saudi. How about those who are in Iraq? How about those who are in Lebanon? How about those who are in Syria? The other thing, and to me, I think this is double speak. Because these are our sisters. These are our mothers. These are our wives. We are not here to castigate the agents. We are not here to paint them in bad picture. What we are saying is simply this.
Yeah.
If today you are given an employment at HorizonTV and you sign an agreement and you fail to deliver, what is the most honorable thing to do?
Resign.
Resign. And what is the most honorable thing for the employer to do to you?
Release you.
Let's be real here. We have got evidences of Kenyans who have been unable to meet the employer's expectations, as she has put it. But they have communicated that inability to the agents and to the embassy. The agents have refused to listen to them. The embassies have behaved that like they do not know them. Do you still blame this Kenyan? That is one thing. Because hakuna mtu kamilifu. The other thing that she's talking about preparing our sisters, our mothers, mentally, psychologically, in all aspects. I have given you a case study of girls being taken to the Middle East in the name of tourist. When you are told to go and tour in Mombasa, do you expect to go and wash somebody's clothes in Mombasa or umeenda kujivinjari? I'm asking you, I'm looking at you in the face and asking you. So let us stop double speak. Let us be real and say, because the question here is, it is not one girl complaining.
Okay. Very good point that you
brought. It is not one girl complaining.
Very good point. I'm just going to write on.
We have got 200 women at Sakan Deportation Center.
I want to work with figures that both of you have given. One, you're saying 210,000 people currently working in the Gulf.
Yes.
You're saying 200 people. That is what percentage?
I can just show her.
10%?
In fact, I can just reach that lady there.
Odhiambo?
Yeah.
That's 10%, right?
Yes.
So that means it's working 90%, maybe, is it? Or at least over 80% is working out. Correct?
She's saying that
210,000 people are currently working in the Gulf countries.
Yes.
And they're working there. And you're saying you have received so far at least 211
individuals
reaching.
That is one.
And these are 200.
The other component individuals. The other component is we have another 200 girls in a deportation center in Sakan. Another team is in Riyadh.
That's 400.
And we have got,
how many people
I didn't say there are 4 in Riyadh, but I said there's another team is in Riyadh.
So that's what I'm
asking. And we have got other Kenyans, like Sharon, who was picked away from Sakan, and now they are in the prison. So
for raising out their voices, and they were saying, here in Sakan Deportation Center, exit 19, there's no water, there's no food, we have got no pads.
I just want to work out figures. 210,000 working there. The numbers you're talking about, how many are they?
The numbers I'm talking about, the ones that have reached us.
Let's give a rough estimate. 100? 500? 1,000?
Okay.
2,000?
Okay. Let's say 500. But let me give you an idea that is off your mind. How many are suffering but are unable to reach us? How many of our girls are now working in brothels? I'll give you a conversation here.
Brothels.
Brothels, and I give you, and the brothels are owned by Kenyan. There's a Kenyan owning a brothel in support of an officer in the embassy. So, we will expose these people. We will look at them in the face and tell them. I will give an example of a Kenyan telling me, I was working for my boss. We couldn't agree on a few issues. They wanted to exploit me sexually. I had to run away. And when I met a good Samaritan, he told me, let me take you somewhere. The place they took me is a brothel. So I sleep in the daytime and I operate at night. And they tell me they cannot pay me. My pay is food and where I sleep.
Very interesting point you've brought about.
I'll give you evidence
from the experience and the companies and even your colleagues you've worked with. I mean, do someone get out of this country with the intention and knowledge to go and work in a brothel? In some of these countries.
I have seen such a case.
And as she continues,
World Cup currently is going to be hosted in Qatar. And one of the main issues that Qatar is addressing is adultery, right? Because of the strict Islamic laws. So if adultery, even for you to go into the same room with a woman, you have to prove that you're married, right? And this is utterly, outrightly forbidden in this country. Brothels. I mean, Botul, what are some of the mechanisms put around that thing? Is it even allowed in the first place?
It is not allowed. It is against their constitution. So for you to be found in such a place, you will have to be on the wrong side of their law. Automatically, you will go to prison.
So do we have agents taking people to work in brothels,
no,
or they're being deceived?
No, this is what happens. You know, when you're working in a house, whatever the contract says is what you're paid. Unless your boss feels like you need a rise. But the agreement restricts you to the contract. And most of the contracts for these domestic workers are between 1,000 real to 1,500 real. That's the highest a domestic worker can get in terms of
equivalent to how much in Kenyan shillings?
Between 20 to 35,000.
Okay.
Yes. Now this is what happens. When you're not working in a specific home, some of these people come together, rent a house, then now they go for part-time jobs. And when you go for these part-time jobs, it pays more than when you're working in a specific house.
Is that allowed though?
It is not allowed. Most of them are people who've run away from their bosses. Yes. So now what happens, their business is much more lucrative. They tend to lure even these new ones that travels. So you're here processing for someone to travel, but at the back of their mind, they know, I have a friend there who's waiting for me. So all I need to go is go to Saudi, work for a month or two, refuse to work, look for a plan, run away. This is the address of where I want to go. But little do they know, the risk they take is that, yes, you'll go earn a lot of money in less time than what you would have earned in a specific house. But once the police lands on you, you'll go to prison, and all the money that you collected, you will be deported without a single cent on you. Number two, once you're not working to a specific house, it means you do not have your travel documents with you. So now you are more of a fugitive. Anyone can do anything to you. Who protects you? Nobody. Because you are against the law. And you are in their country. So it is very easy for them even to put allegations on you, and you won't be able to get yourself out of there. And then if you have a family behind and you're supposed to send money or so, you cannot do that unless you now get another Kenyan who's employed somewhere to help you send the money, because you cannot access the bank.
Interesting.
So you see, these are some of the things that they pass through. But because they do not know this, all they know is, I'll be making more money. But will this more money be beneficial to you? No. So that person who's earning the 1,000 real, employed in a specific house, is living a much more comfortable life than you. Time will come, their contract will end. This person is able to go back home freely. As for you, you're living in the deportation camp. Like he said, things are not easy there because to them you're a detainee. It's not a holiday that you'll have a swimming pool, you'll have shower, you'll have this. No, it is a detention camp.
Wow, interesting. Aban, do you have those videos? You've shared the videos with Aban?
Yeah.
Aban, are the videos ready? Maybe you can just tell me. You have them, you don't have the videos. Yeah. You shared the videos,
Yes,
bro?
I shared.
Odhiambo?
Yeah, I shared.
Okay, so, wow. Aban, let's go on a very short break, maybe just 1 second or 1 minute. And then we come back and watch some of those videos as we continue this conversation series. Is that okay?
Do you have Wi-Fi?
In the meantime, Ojiro will be sending those videos. Please, ladies and gentlemen, it's so heated this area until Botul is sweating, man. Hi now, Kassim.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. Verse of the day.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
المال والبنون زينة الحياة الدنيا والباقيات الصالحات خير عند ربك ثوابا وخير أملا.
Quote of the day. Imam Malik bin Anas said, I am but a man. I make mistakes sometimes, and I am correct sometimes. So examine my opinions and accept anything that agrees with the book and sunnah, and leave anything that does not agree with the book and sunnah.
قال تعالى في محكم تنزيله بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
Ninasaha kutoka pwani.
هذا الدين قال الله قال الرسول قال الصحابة هم أولو العرفان. انتهى.
Ili kuongoza kwenye njia iliyonyoka.
Sikizeni hadithi hii ya Mtume alayhi salatu wasalam.
Hakuna atakayeweza kumfungia mtu mlango ambaye Mwenyezi Mungu aliyemfungulia.
Kuimarisha imani yako.
ثبت قلوبنا على دينك وعلى طاعتك.
Ungana na mashekh wetu kutoka pwani kwenye mimbar.
Mimbar zinamwakilisha Mtume sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Ni Jumamosi na wakati saa 3 usiku katika Horizon TV, runinga uipendayo. Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum. Thanks so much for keeping it live, Real Talk, right here on Horizon TV. And I'm telling you, it's so hot inside here. I wish the break could have been shorter, but again, at the end of the day, we need to pay our bills. At the mshahara, mambo ni ngumu, economy ni mbaya sana. Odhiambo, we've clearly seen that some of the problem, or part of the problem, one, lies with the processes, and in this case, I mean the agents who are not following due process. Number two, some of these girls themselves. Not in a bad way, from this experience, even you've said you've said you call them Kemboys.
Yes.
So it is self-inflicting problems. Who exactly are you putting to task when it comes to some of these matters as a human rights organization?
One, we need to remind ourselves that we fought, our fathers, our grandfathers, we fought for a new constitution, the 2010 constitution. In that constitution, it is very clear that the government of the day has got the sole responsibility and obligation, top, to protect Kenyans wherever they are. Because when any citizen go outside the country to till, to work, to labor, they remit what? Foreign currency. And
but the government has done all it can by putting in the play the structures, the policies and all that. But again, this girl goes there and runs away.
You cannot,
so what do you do?
From an expert perspective, you can never say in a national TV that the government has put in all the structures and systems. Because one, and we must be real here, does the government have a database of how many Kenyans are in the Middle East?
I think there's a form they're supposed to fill, right?
Two.
With the Ministry of Labour.
There are different departments doing the same work, and that's bring confusion. Two, do we have a database of how many agents have been registered and how many have complied and how many have not complied?
Yes, we do.
And what is the government doing on those agencies that have been complacent? Three, we have our own women and girls pointing hands, fingers at particular diplomatic corps based in Riyadh. What has the government done to deal with those allegations? They may be not true. The allegations may be false. But the government is our father. So if Kenyan immigrant workers in the Middle East, and even those that have come back, are pointing fingers at officials working in Riyadh, what has the government done to deal with those allegations and issues? So the buck stops with the government of the day. This government of the day promised us freedom. So even if the girls have messed somewhere, or they are unable to meet certain standards, you cannot take them through those kind of heinous and inhuman processes. We know of our girls who are in detention camps for more than 8 months. Is it fair? In detention camp, Sakan, 8 months, no water, no food, no pad, no medication.
Anyway, sir, I think Botul.
Secondly, before you move on,
I just wanted to respond to some of those things that you're saying.
We have got Kenyans who are in the employers' houses, and they have sent distress calls of sexual harassment, of not given time to rest, of not given food, of not given medication. And the government is quiet, and the agents are quiet. You are still blaming the girls.
I'm not blaming the girls. We're just trying to put things into perspective here.
So, even if the girls were wrong and were unable to meet the expectations of the agents and the expectations of the employer, do they deserve to go through those kind of circumstances?
Botul,
let me respond to that.
Quickly jump in and respond to some.
Let me respond to that. Before I say anything in response to what you were saying, number one, I want us to agree that so far, in all the cases we've handled, we've not handled a case whereby a Saudi has come from Saudi Arabia, abducted our girl in Kenya, and gone with them back to Saudi against their will. We do not have such a case.
They have done through agents.
No, I'm saying no Saudi has come and done it. Right or wrong?
Maybe.
That is one.
As an expert,
let me respond to you.
I don't look at just things in the face. I look at what is behind.
It's what I'm coming to. That is one. Meaning it is we against we.
Just give we give a time to explain.
It is meaning it is we against we. If there's anything that is being done, it is Kenyans against Kenyans. Do we agree?
Yeah.
That is one. Number two. So long as we are talking about working in Saudi, the Saudi rule of law must apply. Speaking of it, Saudi is purely an Islamic country. Yes. So whether you are a Muslim or not, the culture that you will meet there is an Islamic culture. Sure. Are you aware that we even have ladies complaining of putting on clothes that cover them from head to toe? And one, I do not blame them. Do you know why? Because they are not used to that. So that is what we are saying. Coming to reality meeting expectation, that is where we fail.
Totally agree with you.
Yes, because
totally agree with
even now when you come to my home, you will go by my own rules.
Totally agree with
Some
you.
of the issues Odhiambo raises, one, do you have a list? I mean, I think for you to operate as an agent, you have to register as a business and you register with the Ministry of Labour.
Yes, just visit the
Secondly,
labour offices,
any
you will
other
get all
person
this.
for any person that you need to take outside there for opportunities, they must have their details with the ministry.
There is a due process. Everything is well registered. Everything is well laid out. All I can tell Kenyans is knock these offices and get the information.
Minomba tupunguze joto hapa kidogo, and then we have a clip.
Go to their online portals. Visit the Ministry of Labour. You will see a list of all accredited
I have
offices.
no objection. I have no objection. I have no objection.
No, but afadhali Freddy. Please, no, but afadhali. Aban, hiyo video kwa wapi? Umenitoa kwa screen. Okay, I'm back. Let's play Cherono. Let's see what Cherono has to say. Cherono.
My name is Faith and I'm currently in Saudi and I'm good. For me, I just work like home. They called me their sister, and I want to say that being in Saudi Arabia, it doesn't mean like all bosses are bad, but we have got good bosses. Like for mine, they're just good. I'm good. I traveled on last year, 2021 May, date 6. Okay, first thing I can say that we have got the problem with the language barrier, because they just know only one language, and that's their language. So it's so much hard for us to get in with them at the first. So within 3 months now, I started now knowing 1, 2, 3 that I can respond, but kuna hiyo issue ya language barrier. And currently I'm in Saudi in a city called Hafar Albatin, and I want to say that there is challenges if you don't have courage, like unaweza kuharass vibaya, but if you can have your own courage, you'll be good. And I can say again that I've benefited many things, because I can see that at my home, at least nimesaidia wazazi, nimelipa school fees, so I can say that there is some benefit, because if compare life like nikikuwa Kenya with now, like at least for now I'm someone and I can.
Highness, in the interest of time, I had to ask my producer to cut that short and just quick, 1 minute, because I have some few questions here. I'm just going to run through for you guys. But what do you think about Cherono? 1 minute. Odhiambo, I'm going to start with you.
Cherono is being honest.
He's being honest?
Yes, and the words that he has mentioned as an expert, he has said there are too much harassment here. But what do you need to do? Build resilience. Now, how many of Kenyans can build resilience?
Building resilience, that's the key point. Botul, very quickly, just your reaction on Cherono's video.
What Cherono has said, like she has said it like it is, be it in Kenya, be it in Saudi, be it in Germany, be it in US, yeah, just need to be yourself to work. Like you won't get everything on a silver platter, not just in Saudi, any other place. You need to earn it.
Jelani MK says, there needs to be an immediate ban on citizens going to work in Saudi Arabia, Lebanon, and other countries found to have penchant and disregard the rights of human rights. Yes or no? Do you agree?
Sure.
So we ban it.
We stop the exportation of labor to the Middle East until certain mechanisms are put in place and the bilateral agreement is looked into for purpose of review.
Botul, do you agree?
No, I do not agree, because we have people working comfortably, getting paid, feeding their families. So what we need to do, if we need to make adjustments, let us do that. But like you said, the percentage, 10:90. So just going by the look of it.
Wow. Last but not least, I'm just going to read another comment here. Suleiman says, the Kenyan ambassador to Saudi is saying that our Kenyan girls do not have required standard and manners to work in Saudi, and that is why they face what they face. Which standard is he talking about that these agents do not teach them in their camps?
In fact, you should add a question there to say who is to blame.
The
should
root
add a comma there.
The root of all this, we have Kenyans who've stayed here for more than 10 years. They've been there. Those are people who are not willing to come back anytime, and these are the people who are spoiling our girls. They brainwash them. You come to Saudi, I'll do this and this, I'll get you out of your house, I'll call you here. These people have a small village called Yamama. A lot of things happen there that is contrary to the Saudi government. So each time you go astray and you do not do what the law of that country says, how are we supposed to help you?
Interesting. Your reaction on that? Very quickly.
My reaction.
Because I have a last question.
My reaction is, the gentleman has mentioned that, what did he mention?
The ambassador says that the girls do not have required manners and standards to work in Saudi.
So who to blame? Which manners are these? What standards are these? And then the question is due process. Before they went there, by giving an example, I gave you an example of this lady, Florence Odhiambo, who is taken there as a tourist in Lebanon and find himself working for a client. So do you still blame this girl on moral and standards?
I'm going to be cut any minute from now. Finally, what is your recommendation? Because right now we've spoken about all this and you're so much passionate about this thing. What is your recommendation? What is your...
My recommendation is, and it starts with the campaign, that we are uniting and standing in solidarity with all the girls and the women who are stranded in the Middle East. And we are saying that we're going to engage with the government and other key stakeholders in making sure that the women who are stranded in the Middle East are brought back. The women who have died there, the corpses, are brought back. And what you are saying, that as an organization, we demand that we stop exploitation of labor to the Middle East until everything is put in place for purposes of safety and security of our women.
Interesting. Thanks so much for that. Botul, your reaction to that and your parting shot. Please integrate it.
What I would say is let everyone do the right thing. Before you travel, be informed if you can. Ask as many questions as you can. Knock as many doors as you can. So many people are willing to engage. It's just that people do not reach out. Like my good friend here was asking if the labor has a list of the accredited office. Yes, it does. It's only that people are ignorant to reach out to some of this information. And number two, what I want to say about Saudi is a violation of rights can happen anywhere. It necessarily does not have to be Saudi Arabia. The other day we saw a video of a Chinese caning a Kenyan right here in Kenya. Why didn't it get the reaction that we are getting? And about some of the people and things that they undergo, I want to give you an example of a girl who came back dead some few years back. So the family was agitated, like, social media was talking, everyone was, Kenyans should never go to Saudi. Just to go deep into the case and find out the truth, much later on, this girl had run away from the sponsor's house. She went to live in Yamama, got pregnant by a truck driver from Kenya, and in the process of trying to abort, because she now wanted to surrender herself to the deportation camp and come back, she comes from a very strict family. Her resolution was to abort. And in the process of wanting to abort, she lost her life. But do we know this? No, we don't. All we see in social media is people are being killed. Let us be truthful. If we were to start a campaign, I can come up with very many videos, very many confessions of people who have worked in Saudi Arabia and they are living. Hard work and labor go hand in hand. If you are going to work, go there, expect work. You won't expect a holiday and you've signed in to go and work. No.
Wow, interesting. So, I don't think, I don't have anything else to add. It's 2 minutes past 9 p.m. Salma is there watching. Salma, your adverse will be playing right now. Thank you so much, guys. Sorry, there's no ticket to Slava tonight. Salma will kill me as well. The head of programs, Salma Salim, will kill me. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for keeping us company. See you next week, same place, same time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.